Hi, I'm Gary White for Channel 6, Central Kentucky Television, and I'm here with Chad Mattingly, who's the Marion County Clerk, and we're going to talk about the election, which is coming up. The general election is going to be November 3rd, and as we talked about with the primary, there are some changes. Because of the whole COVID situation, there's lots of different changes going on.
Yes, sir.
But there's lots of opportunities for people to vote in person, by mail, just various different ways. So let's kind of run through the various different options that are available for everybody.
Well, Gary, thank you for doing this for your viewers, and we really appreciate that. There are more options in this election to vote than any other election that's ever been held in Marion County. Yeah, that's mostly a truthful statement. Election day, there's less options.
Right.
So let's just start from the beginning.
Okay.
All right. The number one thing people need to know today on September 9th is that they've got until October 5th to make sure that their voter registration is correct, updated, or if they're not registered, to get registered. That's the number one thing. You got until October 5th to get your voter registration. Make sure it is in good shape if you plan on voting in this election. A week after that, October 12th, we start voting people like it's an election day, basically. We're going to have every Marion County eligible voter can come to the David R. Harrigan Government Building Monday through Friday from 8:20 to 4:20, which is our regular business hours in the office. And on Saturday mornings, for the 3 Saturdays before the election, from 8 a.m. until noon. So that's 19 days of early in-person voting that anybody in Marion County can take advantage of. In addition to that, starting on October 12th, we are going to be going to different communities each evening from 3 until 7. So one night we'll be in Loretta. The next night we'll be in, I need my calendar on me. We've got a calendar set up. It's been in the Enterprise. The Lebanon Enterprise has published that for us. We're very thankful for them.
And you can give a call to your office.
Absolutely.
Get that rundown of where you're going to be.
The schedule right now is the way it's going to be. I mean, we've set the schedule, but we'll be in Loretta 3 times during those 15 days. We'll be in Raywick 3 times during those 15 days. We'll be in Braversville 3 times during those 15 days. We'll be in Holy Cross, St. Mary's, St. Joe, Jessietown, Calvary, Gravel Switch, one day apiece, in between October the 12th and the weekend before the election, which is October the 30th, I think is the last day. We're calling it the Vote Mobile. It's not, it was inspired by that broken down bookmobile over there, but it won't quite be like that. We're going to probably set up, unless I can figure out a way to put all the equipment into a self-contained unit that we can get a wheelchair in, then we'll set up in a building. We need to make sure that everything's accessible to every voter in Marion County, regardless if they're a little bit on the banged up side and can't walk up steps, or if they're in a wheelchair, or if they're, you know, all of our polling locations are handicap accessible. So we'll probably be setting up every night, running the polling location, then setting up, taking down and getting ready to set up somewhere else the next night. And that's 3 to 7 every night in a place throughout the county. And now if you're a voter in, we're set up in Loretta, and you're a registered voter in Raywick, but that night is the night that you can vote,
Still be able to.
You can vote there. I mean, somebody that's registered in Loretta can vote in Braversville.
Right.
You can only vote one time.
Yeah.
Regardless of.
Exactly.
Yes. We've got safety checks to where, you know, if you've requested an absentee by mail, then you're not going to be allowed to vote in person. So there's the double checks and triple checks are there to make sure that everybody that is eligible gets to vote, but only one time.
Right.
Yes.
So we want to, so everywhere you are for in-person voting throughout the time, anybody can vote, no matter where they're, where they live
voter
in Marion County.
Yes.
Any registered voter can vote no matter where you are that night or that day.
Exactly.
So anybody can drive up here during the day, vote here in person.
Yes, sir.
Or go to any of your remote locations and vote.
Yes,
Doesn't
sir.
matter whether they live in that location or not. Okay, and that's going to start October 12th,
Yes.
right? Okay, going to go October 12th through the end of October.
Now, I've talked to the state about our plan. The only problem they have with our plan is that we're starting a day earlier than they want us to.
Okay.
At this point, we're planning on the 12th.
Okay.
Unless they come down and tell us
Right.
in very strict terms that they're under no circumstances can we vote on the 12th,
Right.
we're going to vote on the 12th.
Okay.
If not, then worst case scenario is we start on the 13th.
So as we're recording this, we still have a month. So validate. If you're planning to go on the 12th, you might want to call the week prior to make sure with the clerk's office
Full transparency, yeah.
the 12th is a legitimate date. But no matter what, we'll be by the 13th then.
Yeah, worst case scenario,
It'll be
the next
13th.
day.
Right.
That's when everybody else is starting, and that's where the regulation.
Yeah. And you need to register to vote. If you aren't already, you need to make sure you're registered by October 5th.
That's correct.
But it's a general election, so you can vote for anybody on the ballot that you so choose.
If you're registered as an independent or another, or a Democrat or a Republican or a Green Party or any of the other constitutional parties, yeah, you can vote for. You can start at the top of the ticket and vote for a Republican here and a Democrat there and a independent there, and
Right. Just spread your vote around.
however you want to vote in a general election, regardless of what party you're affiliated with.
So that's in-person voting, and it's available starting October 12th, 13th, somewhere in that area.
We're still saying 12th.
Yeah, 12th.
Yeah.
Going through the end of October, available for anybody throughout Marion County who's registered. Now, how about the day of?
Election day, November 3rd. At this point, we're going to have 5 polling locations.
Okay.
Our largest one will be at Center Square. We're going to have that set up the way we had it set up in the primary, where we had 6 people signing voters in, 6 poll workers signing the voters in. They were the voters given a ballot. There's a good socially distanced place set up to where the voter can fill out their ballot. Excuse me. Then we have the machine set up, plenty of machines. The voter can put the ballot in the machine on their way out the door. So they don't cross paths. It's kind of in one way, out the other way.
So that's in-person voting all the way leading up to Election Day, and on Election Day itself, there is the opportunity for in-person voting at the different locations. You said there are 5 locations. The largest one's Center Square.
Yes.
Where are the other locations going to be?
The other locations, we'll have one in Loretta, we'll have one in Raywick, we'll have one in Bradfordsville, and we'll have one in Calvary.
Now with that, do they have to vote in their location, or can anybody vote anywhere again then?
That all of our locations are going to be set up to where they can handle
Anyone.
anyone.
Okay. So you can vote in any of those locations. If one's closest to you and you want to go there, but you don't have to live in that location to vote there. So that's good. Okay, so that's in-person voting. Lots of opportunities for that. Another, though, is voting by mail is also open to any registered voter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
The deadline to apply to request an absentee ballot is October the 9th.
Okay, so even before.
Yes.
Okay.
It's now we've already had a lot of people request. A lot of people are requesting mail-ins not knowing that they're going to have so many opportunities to vote in person. So we're trying to educate that, you know, when people call up asking for a mail-in ballot, just to make sure they know they have that option. And a lot of people are taking the in-person option. They'll take advantage of those in-person opportunities. But absolutely, I mean, there are a lot of people that can't get out.
Right.
There are a lot of people that are away at a college, and a lot of these colleges right now, they can't leave. If they leave, then they can't come back. So absolutely, we'll mail out ballots. We have several that will go out just as soon as we receive the ballots.
But you have to register by October 9th for
You
an
have to get
absentee
that
ballot?
application in for an absentee ballot
Okay.
by October 9th. There is an exception after that for medical emergencies. But other than that, if you're going to want to do it by mail, go ahead and get that request in. And that request can be made by calling our office, 270-692-2651, or by going online. Now there's a lot of stuff going online right now. People getting Facebook messages and Facebook ads and different things coming in the mail. Do not go anywhere but elect.ky.gov to either do your voter registration online, which it's easy to do. It's a secure website.
Right.
If you go to elect.ky.gov, you can register, you can request your absentee ballot. All of that takes place right there, but I can't stress it enough. Don't go anywhere else.
Right.
Don't give anybody information that you didn't solicit. Now, when you call the office, we're going to ask for your social security number. But the voter's calling us.
Right.
So but if somebody calls you and asks for your social security number, do not give it to them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
no one's going to call you to register you for mail-in.
not anyone
electing.
from our office, not anyone from the State Board of Elections.
Right.
I mean, it's we're not going to solicit that.
Right.
So if somebody is soliciting that, then it's not us.
Right. It's something to be verified before you go.
But if you go to elect.ky.gov, I mean, that's safe and secured.
Right.
That's where it should take place.
Yeah,
Any voter registration or requesting an absentee ballot, you can check your voter registration there to make sure that you're registered. There are on that front page, if you go to I think it's register to vote, it's the first tab on the right. Then it brings up a new screen that has all kinds of options for voters, for information, for requesting ballots.
Getting it all out there.
Yes.
So if you register, if you do sign up for a mail-in ballot, an absentee ballot, by October 9th, when should they expect to have it by? When's like the deadline when they should expect to receive their
Everybody that's requested it right now, we will send out as soon as we get the ballots. We haven't got the ballots yet.
Right.
I was here over Labor Day weekend and made our ballot order. The company that prints those are going to start printing those at the end of this week.
Okay.
We anticipate having everybody that's requested so far in the mail by the end of September.
Right.
So everyone that's requested so far should get their ballot before the 1st of October. After that, if you request it one day, we're going to be putting those ballots together the next day. And we're going to get those out in the mail the next day, or just as soon as we have that whole batch together. They're going to go in the mail. So if you requested after the first set of ballots go out, then within 3 or 4 days you're going to see it in the mail.
Okay. But give them a little bit of time now if you've already requested. So, and again, that's open to everyone as well. You can either do in-person, every registered voter can do in-person or by mail, but you can only do one or the other.
That's correct.
You can't do both, and you will not be able to vote in person if you have requested a mail-in ballot.
Now there's a procedure that we can go through if someone requests a ballot by mail and then realizes that there's so many options for them to vote in person. As long as we haven't sent that ballot out, then we can cancel that application and they can go vote in person.
That's a phone call. Give them a call and they can work out those details then.
But the time frame is between the 9th and the 12th when we start our early voting. If they've already, we're going to have the ballot out to them before the early voting starts. So just encouraging people to have an idea now of what they're going to want to do. If you need a mail-in ballot, absolutely, we'll send it to you. If you would rather do it in person, we're going to have plenty of opportunities to do that. And we're going to have basically 20 election days.
Yes. So that being said, so election day is November 3rd.
Yes.
What is the likelihood of having final numbers on that date, do you expect? How did that work for the primary?
With the primary, there was a week after the election. So the election's on a Tuesday. We were accepting absentee mail-in ballots until that Saturday. Anything that was postmarked by Election Day. This time it's the 6th, which is that Friday.
Okay.
During the primary, the state didn't want any numbers until the Tuesday after the election, or the Monday after the election. I'm getting my elections.
So you have until November 6th.
To accept the absentee ballots. Prior to this year, if we didn't have an absentee ballot by 6 o'clock on election day,
That was it.
it breaks our heart, you know, if they come in late, but that was the deadline.
Right.
I'm encouraging folks, if they can, to, once your mail-in ballot is completed, it can be dropped off at the county clerk's office.
Right.
The voter can bring it to us.
We do want to mention that if you do get an absentee ballot, they're called mail-in, but they do not necessarily have to be mailed.
Not for this election.
Right.
For previous elections, they couldn't
Yeah,
be dropped off.
right.
But for this election, they can be dropped off.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes a middleman out of it.
Right. And at the primary, you had a box set up. Is that again this time or not?
We did have a box set up, never unlocked the box. The day that we started, we reopened to the public for our vehicle transactions and everything on June 8th, which happened to be about the same time that we were starting early voting. And for 3 weeks, I literally stand outside helping people with paperwork. That way, when they got inside, we could get their vehicle transactions taken care of just as quick as possible. So somebody with our office was standing outside. So people would pull up, drop off 2 or 3 ballots, and we'd run them inside real quick. This time with the drop box, they've changed the regulations a little bit. For example, last time, the drop box we had, I couldn't think of a more suitable place to put it to where it would have 24-hour access, be under the best guard that it could possibly be under at the lobby at the police station. It didn't fit the regulations though. The Lebanon Police is a city-owned facility, and the regulations stated it had to be a county-owned facility. Leaving the drop box out it makes me nervous. I don't want to see somebody put their ballot in a drop box and then
get stolen or something.
Well, it doesn't even have to be stolen, you know. I mean, if it's sitting out in a place where you know, an accident could happen and a car runs into it and smashes it all up and you have ballots flying there. I don't know. I get into elections, I get into worst case scenarios. And
so there won't be a box this year, this election, as of right now.
If there is, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to be comfortable putting it.
Okay. All right.
It's
so just hand it into the office.
Or mail it in. I mean, mailing it in is a fine option, but there's nothing more efficient than that ballot coming straight back to us.
Right.
Because if it's handed in at the front line at our office, then we've got our ballot processing team's going to be right in the room behind them, and that ballot will go straight from the voter to the ballot processing team. It's about as efficient as we could possibly make it, and that's the same with in-person voting. There's nothing more efficient than a poll worker signing you in with your ID. If you've got a Kentucky ID or driver's license, with the system we have, if you'll have that out, scan that real quick. Oh, there's Gary White. He lives in, he's a voter in A103 maybe. We hand you a ballot, you fill it out, you put it in the machine yourself. There's absolutely no room there for any kind of
mishaps to occur.
Well, just you know, things getting lost in the shuffle. We look for efficiencies.
Right.
We want to take out as many steps as we can, so we make sure that everybody's votes counted.
And you have many opportunities, as we've been saying, to have this happen. So you need to make sure by October the 5th that you are registered to vote. That's the first step. You need to be registered. And for that, you can go to elect.ky.gov.
elect.ky.gov. That's elect.ky.gov. Or you can come to the office.
Or come to the office. And then you can make sure that you're registered. About approximately a week after that, in-person voting will be starting. You can vote in person every day of the week and Saturdays here at the Judicial Center here, the Government Building.
The David R. Hergen.
David R. Hergen Government Building.
Across the road from the Judicial Center.
Yeah, at the Government Building. Or they'll be in various locations throughout the county, and give the office a call here. What's the phone number to call?
270-692-2651.
Okay, and they can tell you where they're going to be if you don't have that schedule. Or you can vote in person on Election Day itself. There'll be 5 locations around, and you can also give a call to find out where they're going to be. But another option is the mail-in absentees, but you need to register for that by October the 9th.
October the 9th.
Right. And that, again, go to elect.ky.gov or
give us a
contact the
call,
office.
and we can make sure that that application goes through. Those ballots will go out just as soon as we get them.
Right.
Hope to get them next week.
Yeah.
That would be the middle of the month, and have them out to where at the end of the month people are starting to get those ballots.
Absolutely. And that way everyone's vote can be counted for general election 2020. And again, election
There's a lot
day
of
is
things
November
on the
3rd.
ballot this time, Gary.
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of offices, but there's also local. There's also some amendments, I believe.
There are 2 constitutional amendments. I was looking over. I was doing our ballot proofs with our company that proofs our ballots, and was doing that yesterday and was looking over the constitutional amendments. I have absolutely no knowledge about either one of them. So, as far as
well, I think one of them is the law that is back on the ballot from last time because of a technicality that didn't go. But so there's lots to look at, lots to educate yourself on as well, because there's a lot to vote for.
There's a lot to vote for in Marion County. We've got the president, the U.S. Senate, we've got our state representative, we've got a circuit judge, unexpired term, that'll be on the ballot. We've got 4 of the 5 school board districts on the ballot. 2 of those are contested races. In the 1st district, in the Gravel Switch, Bradleyville, that end of the county, and then in the 2nd district, which is the kind of the southern side of Lebanon and the Calvary area. We've got all of our local cities, all
council and commissioners and such.
Lebanon City Council, the Loretta City Council, and the Raywick City Council and Bradleyville City Council. All of those are on the ballot this time. So
lots to.
It's with the primary election, we were blessed with a small ballot. It didn't take long for voters to vote, so we could get them in and out pretty quick. This one's going to be, voters are going to be in there just a little bit longer.
Okay.
But that's all right. We'll have it set up to where.
So be prepared, because there's plenty of opportunity to vote and plenty of time to do it.
We'll just set up more tables to mark ballots than we have people to sign in, and
that's right.
We'll get a bunch of them signed in, and
we'll go from there.
You can vote and make sure you get your selections in, and have a machine there for you to put it in on the way out the door.
Again, I'm talking with Chad Mattingly, who's the Marion County Clerk. One more time, the phone number for your office.
270-692-2651 is our phone number here. We're here from 8:20 to 4:20 Monday through Friday, and there won't be any Saturdays. We don't have any holidays between now and Election Day, so we'll be here every Saturday from 8:20 to 11:50, but the voting will be open from 8 until noon.
Okay.
Here at this building on Saturdays.
Okay, so lots of opportunities. Again, it's the general election 2020, and this has been Gary White talking with Marion County Clerk Chad Mattingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much.